start of one. We'll go back to the entrance, and that's why I said this one kind of is an under-recognized lot.
Really
a lot of people see that and say, well, it doesn't touch the creek, and I wouldn't have any interest in that. And then I bring them over, and they say, wow, this is nice. This has got some gorgeous trees. So for you, being able to set up a venue here right as you come in, that's their driveway. So by way of disclosure, they're going to be there. There's going to be a barn somewhere down in there that's going to be pretty. They're going to have horses, so there's going to be horses monkeying around, and their house is going to be over there. So you could have a venue here, which would be close to Bell Springs, with gorgeous views and all that good stuff, and then you could put a house back on beyond the lake with the lake as a separator, and it would be gorgeous. So.
Where's the lake's over here?
Let me go back to where you would enter. Right there. So you'd come there, and with the survey, you would come right through here. That's them. There's that point.
That's the survey point.
You come through an entrance with all these beautiful oak trees. And what's really nice is, with a couple guys, chainsaw, and about a half a day, you could be cutting coming in. And so when I said about 10, you've got a lot of cost road-wise that you've got to consider. This is basically come, dump truck, lay road, roll wet, and you're going. So no dozer work required, nothing. I think this is a nice lot, and here's why. Now, this is another way of disclosure here. Truman Breed wraps around here. Truman is a 76-year-old man that was about to retire from breeding company. His son was taking over. His son died, incidentally. And so his son was going to take over, had brain tumor, and I guess it was cancerous, and he's deceased now. So he's back to work. You saw this fence here. Truman is putting that fence up himself with a laborer. And so he golfs at Austin Country Club once a week, but he comes out here on the weekend and works on this. And he said, Dean, you know, this is my piece. But back to business, he's not selling this right now. Now, I always say this, when Truman dies, you can't control from the grave.
Right.
However, this piece is not going to be able to be developed or anything done on because it would be under 6 acres. So right now there's a 6-acre requirement. So you know that right now a lot of these parcels are 20 acres or 18 acres around here, and this is a big piece. Can't call it. Bella Vista was slated to be over here, but it's a dead subdivision right now. They spent millions of dollars trying to get this in, and it's not in. But even still, there's going to be 3 houses here if it ever does make, just based on the topographical deal. But to be able to put a mud in and do that is just tremendously expensive. And the city, which I have to go before for our office, is not going to grant that stuff. So it's going to become more difficult to have anything less than 6 acres, and probably 10-acre type tracts is where we're headed in Dripping Springs, or Belterra type subdivisions is what you're going to see.
And where's the entrance to one on the map?
The entrance to one is right here at the curve.
Gotcha.
So right on the outside, you can see what that size is. A lot of people have discounted this because, well, it doesn't have enough road frontage. But the truth of the matter is, they're going to have their, what we call a Mac Daddy entrance here, I'm sure. You know, the I Love Me entrance, which I'm going to do one too, so I'm going to sound catty about that. And then this will have the same thing. It just will not have a tremendous amount of frontage. And I like it because all along here you've got a buffer here, and then he's got trees in through here that buffer this property as well. Now, you're going to have some road noise because when it's not a heavily traveled road, but you certainly can hear cars if you're standing here. But as I said, there's some real pretty views that can be had from here. I'll take y'all over to what I perceive to be a house site for it, and then we can kind of come back this road and back to where we started.
Let's kind of see where this lake could potentially.
I'm going to show you. You'll be able to see it. It'll be very apparent when we drive there.
All right.
Good.
Yep. The Christian antler.
I can't believe you did that.
That was rude. glad it didn't take my tire out. I was fair to say.
I actually like the way this is screened. You don't need big road. Hang on.
I agree.
That's where you come from. Take a picture of that. Video. Video.
Yeah. The valve stems out dry. I think that's only one guy. So.
Yeah.
Someone's been in amongst them.
Park behind it back here.
That's gorgeous.
We are totally on one as we're driving now.
Over here.
Okay, so this shows you kind of that wash that we're talking about. And then right ahead of this really is where we see the lake being dug. Right there.
On the other side of the green or
So
right here?
Right here on the other side of this wash, starting at about that tree and going back that way.
Okay.
And you'll see what I mean when we get up on it.
Be back down in here is where we would be, where he's talking about. We're right up in here.
And you can see, I'll drive you over here, but you can see that this runs pretty good based on how we whirled that out. When we've got just regular rain, this is normally a creek running this way.
Into Barton Creek.
Well, this is a feeder into Barton Creek.
That's what I mean, into Barton Creek. I see how it drops down. We'd be in the lake. You'd go back to here, come along to that edge to where you'd have edge over there, and then edge over here, and then you come right around it, probably right at the beginning of that there. You'd make a little header dam, and then come right across, and boom. If this was next to me on 8, I'd have bought this, but I didn't have that opportunity.
To build a lake.
Yeah, because I wanted to build a lake, and a buddy of mine that owns an automobile dealership in town bought one on 12, and I mean, it's gorgeous. It's got a 15-acre lake. The guy really knew what he was doing, and so I'm trying to get a hold of him to be able to give his name to whoever's buying this.
That is an
because-
art. You need somebody who knows how to dig.
Exactly.
Otherwise
exactly.
you have a dry hole.
Eddie was cute when he talked about it. He said, I talked to him for about 2 minutes and I realized he was a lot smarter than I was, and so he's who I wanted to work with. But he had already done that on the property. He's who did the
He
lake.
did that lake. Okay.
He just knew. Like
What was the
20
cost?
people, I don't know because he bought it, but about 20 people had looked at it and said there's no way you could do a lake anywhere in this. And he came out and within about 5 minutes, he was one of the partners, said, okay, we're going to do here, and here, and here. And that lake right now, spring fed, has water in it. It's only down a foot. A foot in this drought. And I'm like, you're the man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he would come out here and say, hey, there's water right here, right now. You're just not to it. You just got to dig it. Yeah.